Buddy, welcome to another Tech Talk on a beautiful Wednesday. Um, how's everybody doing? Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Chris, what's up?
Nothing much. Just getting ready to learn some code. So this Tech Talk is called Building a Real-Time Chat App with Appwrite. And I'm pretty excited because this is essentially Brandon teaches Chris how to build a real-time chat app.
Hey, that's what it seems like that's what you and that's what the people that are here for to see. So I'm excited to get into it.
Right on. Yeah, so if you're joining us from chat, say hey, let us know where you're coming in from. For intros from ourselves, my name is Chris Sev. I'm a dev advocate at DigitalOcean, and I come from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah, and I'm
Brandon?
Brandon Roberts. I'm a DevRel engineer at Appwrite, and I am in the South in Huntsville, Alabama.
Right on. What's up, everybody in chat? So, Ricardo, greetings. St. Lucia, Swellen, welcome back.
Yeah, got a nice crew rolling in here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Wow. Sheffield, England. Yeah. Nice crew all over the world. Fantastic to see. Yeah. So everybody keep shouting out in chat. We'll keep calling you out.
Hmm.
Um, and Brandon, this is exciting for Appwrite because you all just did a Series A.
Yeah, sure did. Yep, we shared the announcement yesterday. But yeah, announced 27 million Series A funding. Definitely some top investors there. Uh, it allows us to continue the vision of Appwrite, and really excited about that. So definitely check out the post. Pretty sure we'll link that somewhere in some notes. So definitely read the post. And I'm excited to be part of it. Like I said, I've been here a little over 3 months. But yeah, it's been great, and glad to see that we're being able to push open source forward and be able to do more cool things. So definitely kudos to the team on that.
Right on. Um, I didn't realize it was so early for Appwrite. I feel like that's a pretty bright future ahead.
Hmm. Yeah, we gotta we gotta keep spreading the word so more people, of course, find out about it uh, and join the community. So definitely, like I said, check that out and let us know what you think.
Right on. Yeah. And you'll see a full app built today, real time. So you can judge for yourself if you want to try out some Appwrite. And question in chat, Christopher, is this being stored later for watching? Yes, this will stay and live on the DigitalOcean YouTube channel for until YouTube goes away.
For instance, practically forever.
Yeah, longer than we'll know for sure. So yeah, it'll live there, and let's get right into it. So Brandon, could you give us a rundown of if people in chat don't know about what Appwrite is? Could you give us like the elevator pitch?
Yeah, sure. You, as you got the site up there, Appwrite is a secure open source backend as a service. It's self-hosted. If you're if we're looking at the kind of the landscape of services out there, there's Firebase, there's other ones. This you could consider this. It's on our tagline. We're 100% open source alternative to Firebase. So if you've used that before, you can use Appwrite in that way, but it has a few features out there. We have the cloud coming soon, but yes, the main features, say we manage our database for you, has features such as authentication and managing users and teams. Recently updated the storage functionality. So if you want to store files, have cloud, also has cloud functions there. So if you're used to serverless functions, we have the ability to run those in that environment also. Other things, geolocation for fetching that data, and also has a console that we'll look into today that has the things that you can do on the command line. You can also do in the console, and it's of course privacy focused. You own your own data, self-hosted, and definitely secure out of the box. Like I said, with authentication and be able to, like I said, self-host this on your own server, on your own stack, and even be able to integrate it in with your existing services pretty seamlessly. So that's the pitch.
Right on. So I'm me personally, the more I code, the more, uh, especially lately in the JavaScript world, I'm tired of bringing in like 5 different services,
Hmm.
piecing them together, um, connecting all these things. So these everything under the hood sort of applications and platforms, I
Hmm.
feel like are really cool. Do you have any examples of like what a lot of Appwrite customers are building these days with like an awesome platform underneath?
Yeah, it's pretty much it's a lot of different things. I mean, we've done some things like I know people are building services for users where they're just managing user data. Um, they're building on top of using it as a baseline for their platform. So there are many different use cases. I know that we've of course played around with it some and built some things like an almost Netflix app, which is a nice
Mm,
use case for it, where you can have authentication, you manage lists, uh, and have that also the real time aspect of it. Of course, what we'll get into, but yeah, there's definitely lots of uh, projects out there that we've heard from the community of people that are using it actually in production today to service their customers, as far as whether it be mobile apps. I didn't mention that before, but definitely web, mobile, and Flutter is a big area where people are taking advantage of it and deploying it in that way.
cool. Uh, awesome. Well, I'm excited for today since I get to, I don't know, follow along and build something. So what we're going to build today is essentially the foundations of what you could use for like if you wanted to build your own Slack
Hmm.
or your own Discord. We're going to do chat rooms,
Hmm.
and we're going to do real-time chat inside of those chat rooms. So yeah, whatever you want to build can be done here, and let's get started. So we're 7 minutes in, and we have about 45, 50 minutes to get this done. So
Okay.
real-time chat app.
Real time chat app. Let's go.
Let's go. So to start us off, I saw it at the top here, a DigitalOcean one-click app.
Hmm.
So what this is you click this button, it creates a DigitalOcean droplet or a server for you, and it sets up hosting Appwrite, so you have your backend in like a couple clicks.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing that is about Appwrite is it's all running within Docker containers, and which, like I said, you can run that locally on a machine, or as long as you have some kind of server instance set up with Docker installed, you can run it self-hosted there. And of course, DigitalOcean has droplets you can use to spin up that, so you have that integration there for in case you don't want to, like I said, get up locally on your machine and still have something up and ready to go.
And the cool thing, one last question in chat before we get into it. Thanks, Matej. From Swellen. So any possibility of running on a private intranet?
Yeah, the Appwrite itself, it's like I said, you can fully host it on your own stack. So if you just want to run it internally and keep it completely isolated from the internet, you can do that also. And we're also looking at other integrations where you can run that, like I said, in a completely um, completely private way. But yes, you can do that today. If you don't want to expose it to the outside world, you can definitely do that.
Cool. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start up an Appwrite droplet. If we click this button, we'll have Brandon walk us through setting up the Appwrite.
Yeah, sure. So we have the Appwrite or DigitalOcean console here, and I've clicked the marketplace button already. So I'll come here to create a droplet, and I can go to Appwrite and scroll down here. And the one thing about Appwrite is you can run it on minimal hardware. So I'm just going to choose the basic shared CPU here and the regular SSD and the $10 option, which is the 2 GB and one CPU option there.
So on that, I know that a lot of these like hosted platforms, um, the pricing can get up there a little bit
Mm-hmm.
when you start, expanding on number of users, number of database connections, number of records. This should, like, $10 should last you a pretty long time, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's the that's kind of the beauty of it is it like I said, it runs on minimal hardware, so you can that amount of data and disk transfer should be more than enough to run your stack and get running there. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll go to data center region, excuse me. I'll choose that. And we'll also have the SSH keys because we want to be secure about that. So I will drop that off right here for 1 second as I choose that. And then we'll bring it back. So we have that selected. So I just want to be secure by default. We know how the people in the people in the chat can be sometimes. They like to copy and paste things quickly.
I've made that mistake.
We'll name this Appwrite chat, and then we'll create the droplet there. And now it'll go through that process of creating the droplet on DigitalOcean. We got, like I said, got that done with just a few clicks, and then that'll take a couple of minutes there, and we can kind of talk more about Appwrite while that's getting set up there.
Right on. So we have a question. Can it be run on app platform? So you said it was Docker containers, which can be run on app platform, which is cool about that. I think probably the questions for that next are database and storage.
Yeah, for a database, it's currently run on MariaDB, which is a spinoff of MySQL DB. So there's, like I said, it's a whole open source stack. That's one of the ones that it can run on. And also, we're working on support for MongoDB and Postgres also. So those will be coming soon. So if you wanted to, well, let's say we'll have support for those. If you want to run it on those different type of databases or kind of manage that way, you can definitely connect to those in that way because it's built up to scale in that way as far as the services and how you can connect to it. So definitely flexibility there.
Gotcha. So I think to recap, you can deploy the main Appwrite repo, but
yeah, you can deploy
to app platform. Yeah,
the main kind of service, and then there's the Docker file that you can modify to connect to if you have it hosted somewhere, database hosted separate from the main part of it. Then you can definitely spread it out in that way, and that's intentional as the services are meant to be split up in that way. That way you can scale up if you need to.
Gotcha. So it sounds like app platform can handle Appwrite aside from just figuring out the database situation until Postgres or Mongo come along, which is
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say soonish. I won't put it. Of course, we can't put a date on those type of things, but yeah, those are currently in progress, and it's open source, so you can go and check out the repos and see where it's at. But yeah, definitely working on that currently.
Gotcha. Right on. How are we doing on our?
All right, let's see where we are here. Okay, it looks like we're still okay. We have looks like we have this up and running. I know it takes maybe a second or so to.
Yeah, it might take a second to get rid of that thing.
Yes. Not the thing that we want to see. So we'll bring that back up here in a second. Once it's up and running here. So
yeah, just probably some security stuff.
Yeah,
certs,
Chrome,
whatever.
It's it had to update Chrome. They probably threw something in there at the last second there to get that up and running. So
yeah, Chrome 100 now.
Yeah.
I feel like it was yesterday we first got Chrome. Cool. So while we're setting that up, I have on my screen, we have a repo, which we'll be able to share with you all to get started with a front-end React app. So we're going to build a React app on the front end, and it will connect to this Appwrite droplet that Brandon just created. And the cool thing about this is, oh, nice, it's up.
Yeah, and will add one thing in here also. If you have a domain set up already that you want to use with Appwrite, then it will, like we said, we got the big scary message here. But if you have a domain set up and you connect to Appwrite with that domain already configured, then it will set up an SSL certificate for you. So you'll have HTTPS out of the box running there. So that's one thing I can add to that that Chrome kind of threw in there at me, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So it looks like we're all good now. So let's sign up for
Yeah,
the
so I'll
first
go
admin
ahead
account.
and create this. And this is just the root account, so you can kind of manage the server itself. So let's won't double click that, click sign up. And now we have the Appwrite instance up here and running. So we have our project here, and this is the main Appwrite console where you can create as many projects as you want. Like I said, it scales up in that way. And then this is where we'll actually create the chat application project
So
here.
that's really cool. I don't have to deploy multiple droplets to get multiple projects. That's
Right.
really cool. Okay.
Yeah. Yep, definitely one that, like I said, it does a lot out of the box there. So we'll go ahead and create a project here. And for the project ID, you can either auto-generate an ID for you, or you can type it in manually. For this one, I'll choose chat, and we'll give the project a name, and we'll create the project there. And this kind of brings us into the Appwrite console, further into the Appwrite console for the chat project here. And like I said, we talked about the kind of like database collections and storage buckets and users, and also teams is a part of that, and functions, cloud functions that you can use with Appwrite itself. But like I said, all this is running, current as it is right now. So we have the project there, and one thing I do want to do is go ahead and add a platform, and within that, we do have SDKs for multiple platforms there. So if you're building a web app, Flutter app, Android or iOS, we have SDKs to support those.
That's awesome. And I think that's such an important call out, that we deploy one Appwrite droplet, and then we can have a project that's like the backend for a website, a project that's the backend of, if I ever get into it, which I say I will, like Android apps. But you can have one app, or one project, I guess is the verbiage, and you can still connect to it from multiple different platforms, right?
Yes.
Because the APIs are just the APIs.
Yep, that's true. And like I said, we support, we have our own SDKs that support these platforms, so you can actually install those Appwrite packages, and it will let you use those with your, like I said, platform of choice. So yeah, I added the platform there, and the reason why I added the local host platform is so that we don't run into CORS issues. Basically, everybody in the web, if you're done with the web before, you know that CORS is that thing that always jumps up and bites you. So that adding that web platform lets us connect to it from locally, or if you want to add your domain host there, you can do that too. So yeah, the next part we'll go ahead for the chat anyway is go ahead and set up the collection, and then we can see how to set up a collection and the attributes and that sort of thing. So the ones that we want to manage for the chat is we'll of course create a collection, and you could think of collections like database tables. So we'll create a collection here, and as I mentioned before, you can use the collection ID. You can use an auto-generated one. I'll just choose chat here for the collection name also. And then it'll bring us to the settings page here, where you can define permissions for the collection, whether it be at the collection level itself, or even at the document level for each individual row in the collection can have its own permissions in that way. Yeah, and I see someone mentioned in the chat, we got 12, 12 official SDKs with more coming soon. So definitely
Amazing.
more support
Um,
there.
everything that we're like just passing through, if we have to set this up ourselves, like
Yeah,
read and write access, if you want to do it on your own, like if you built a Node API, you're doing it in two input boxes, but wow, does that take
yeah,
forever if you're writing it yourself?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the like I said, the it has more permissions than what I kind of covered here, but you can have it as granularly as individual users or even teams of users,
Mm.
or even just authenticated accounts. So it's flexible in that way of how you want to set it up there. So I'll just choose role member for both of these. And that just means if you have an authenticated account, then you can read and write to the collection. But you may
And
want to update that.
is role colon member defined by Appwrite itself, or are you just writing that in and it creates it?
It's a permission that Appwrite knows about,
Hmm.
and it has a link here to once you get into the console, you can learn more about the permissions themselves, about what all the levels are,
Hmm.
as far as
Gotcha.
role all, yeah, and users and teams, and how you can configure those. But that's just one of the ones that you can use.
Okay. And then roles, can you define your own?
Uh, I believe you would define your own team. The role itself is convention for Appwrite to know what it is. Yeah, but
I gotcha. Okay.
yeah, you
Cool.
would define a team, and then you could have uh, users under that
So a
team.
team could be like authors or editors.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
for sure. So choose that, and we'll update the collection there. And now we have the at least the permission set up for that side of things. And I'll go ahead and next we'll look at the attributes side of things. As these are, we mentioned that collections are like database tables. Attributes are like fields in a table. So we'll need a couple of ones here for the chat that we're going to build here. So we'll add an attribute for a string, and we'll just name this one message. And I guess we'll keep it like Twitter style here. We'll go with 280 characters. We'll say that that's required.
I
And then
missed the classic 140.
yes, those were the days where it was 140, and you couldn't add like tweets in the app.
Threads.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
you couldn't do multiple ones at a time. So we go back to the old days with that one. Uh, so next one is I'll add is a name, and this will just be for the person the name that we enter when we enter the chat. So, and we'll keep this one to relatively small, but like I said, these are configurable. Uh, so we'll have that also, and we'll create one more for a room. And we'll set that one to required, and that'll just be the room name, and we can use some pretty generic room names there. And yeah, as far as collections go, the documents itself, we can see we don't have any documents in here. We could go in and add a document manually, but we'll go through and add that in the app itself. And I'll kind of quickly talk about indexes here also, where you can indexes are ways to help speed up the reading of data from the collection itself. So if you wanted to read by a specific room or specific name, then you could query against that, and these indexes help you do that.
Solid.
I'll go ahead and create one here really quickly for the message here. I guess it's showing me those. So we'll call this room index, and we'll just create an index for that. But yeah, that is the collection, and like I said, how we can create those attributes and indexes for that. And also it gives you metrics on when records are created and how much usage is done over time, which is collected, I believe, every 15 minutes or so.
Nice.
So yeah, and then we'll go back to the project, and then we can go to the settings because we'll need this actual part of it when we connect to the app itself, where we'll have the API endpoint that you can connect to and the project ID. So we'll need those in the application itself. But yeah, that's the part that we'll at least need to set up in the console side. And as I mentioned before, you can do this all on the command line also, or through the Appwrite APIs. But we can do it in the console for convenience.
Yeah, I'm getting lazy these days. I like just having a GUI and just clicking some buttons. I used to not be that way, but now I'm all for this.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
like
sure.
the thing I love about it is there's less to, I don't know. To me, a lot of code is like a liability, right? You have to maintain it. You have to make sure it doesn't break. So having a lot of this stuff just clickable like this is really cool because now we get to focus on what
Mm-hmm.
our users really care about, which is the front end. And that's where I'd rather put my code focus on.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm. All right. Yeah, I love how easy that was to set up. So what we're going to do, you said we already, just by doing all this, we have an API endpoint, right?
Yes. Yeah, we created the project and we have the API endpoint, and I will copy that and shoot it over so we can use that also. Uh, and then we can roll forward with that. So yeah, I should.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Um, so if with that URL, would it be, I guess you'll show me once we get to the app.
Yeah, and the SDK is just a fill in there. The SDK lets you set that as the endpoint for where your Appwrite instance is, and then the project is the one that you'll use, the one that we want to use for the like reading and writing to that particular collection. So yeah, that's just the same IP that we use for the droplet there. So it
Gotcha.
runs on that default, or runs on port 80 by default. So just runs as a regular backend server.
Solid. Okay. Question from the chat. And while we're doing callouts, if you have any questions in the chat at all, please throw them in comments. We love chatting with you all.
Mhm.
So, one question from Kevin: any ability to set more complex validation rules?
Uh, you can set validation rules, yeah, for the attributes. But if you want to, it depends on the type of attribute it is. So if you're having something like we have some out of the box where you can have defaults for email or IP address. So there is some validation there for the most common use cases. But if you wanted to validate those, you could handle those on your server side, or even on your front end side of that, if you want to do something more complex before you actually hit the database there.
Cool. All right, so that's it for the backend side of things, and that took about 20 minutes, and a lot of that was because we were kind of hanging out and chatting it up.
Yeah.
So let's go to the front end. We have a GitHub repo stubbed out for a React app. And let me switch screens here.
Yep.
All right, so there we go. This is our React application. And if we do a tour real quick, we just have a main React app. If we go to our dependencies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty standard stuff here. And the thing to point out here is, like I said, we mentioned we have a web SDK. So we have the Appwrite SDK there to use there. There's also, if we're using this within a Node environment, there's the Node-Appwrite package that you could install there if you just want to use it server side, because like I said, it can integrate with many different environments there.
Solid. Okay, so let me go ahead and run this dev command. I'm going to go with npm run dev here. That'll start us up on localhost 3000. Vite is so fast.
Oh man, I want, I want to use it everywhere.
Cool. So
Yeah.
this is our stubbed out chat app.
hmm Yeah. So yeah, we got the chat app. It doesn't do much yet, just because we don't have anything connected there yet. But yeah, we just have the name and then the room name that we can enter in there. So yeah, if we go into the source folder, um, if we go into source and the API folder, we should be able to create the Appwrite connection there. I don't know if we're on the main branch or
We're on main.
okay. Just checking.
Let me call out real quick. So what you expect from, I guess, just still going on the tour side of things.
hmm
Um, your main, exactly as you'd expect from a React app, we just mount the app.
Yeah,
And we
yeah,
bring in router.
yeah. Pretty standard React setup here with React router and how you would build your React app, even if you were just trying to integrate some API with it. So for sure.
Okay. And then in the app, so our main app component, we have routes. We have two components, chat and login.
hmm
And if we scroll down here, the path for the home screen is going to show the login form. And
Yeah.
and then this one, path for the /chat will show the chat component. So two routes, two components, good stuff there.
Yeah. And then we in our components, if we go into the components folder there, we can look at the chat and login form because those should be pretty relatively empty there. So nothing too much in here but we're like I said, we're going to go in and fill in the gaps. So
Cool.
yeah, we can start with if we go into the API.ts file that you have there, we just have a stub there for the Appwrite setup. And this was just something that was configured there already. But if you wanted to add this to your app, you would just import it and create a new Appwrite instance and set up the endpoint and the project there. So we already have the project set there, which we're ahead of the game there. And then for the endpoint, we can set that to the the IP address and v1 path that I sent over, and that'll be connecting to the DigitalOcean Appwrite instance that we deployed a few minutes ago.
Solid. And yeah, this just came copy and paste right from the dashboard, the Appwrite dashboard. Cool. All right. So is that all we need to set up Appwrite?
Yeah, as far as setup goes to connect to it, that's all we need to do. There are other options you could set here if you're using JWTs or if you want to have a API key, you can also set those up in Appwrite. And if you're running it, like I said, running it on a server, you can do that also. But yeah, that's all we'll need for on this side of things to connect to it.
All right. That seems easy enough.
Yeah, so next we'll go to the login component there, login form, and we want to be able to log in anonymously or log in through the login form with the name and the room to be able to authenticate because you do have to authenticate before you can read and write like we set up in the application or in the console before.
So this component right here is essentially this right here, right?
Yeah, that's
okay,
true.
Cool. All right. And let's see, we have a form, we have our input, we have another input, and we have our submit button. Sounds good.
Yeah, so next we'll need to fill in the login method here that we're using for the on submit, and we already have the prevent default in there. So after that, we'll need to get the data from the form from the login form, so we can use some or have some inputs
state variables.
We just need to get like the target.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah,
okay.
the name and the room input, so we can pass those to the API.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm not sure how you usually handle your forms, but yeah. Oh, I see. I see what's going on here. They got the sneak
Uh,
the helper in the back here. But
yeah.
okay, so we can roll with that. We'll
Oh
change
man.
username to room, and then we'll just change username to room on both of those. Or name. Sorry, we'll change username to just name because I think
Okay.
that's the field that's from the input there, and then room for those. So next we want
See,
to
it can't take our jobs yet because it didn't know about name
yeah,
and
it was like, hey, I'm just going to put something in here, and but it doesn't wasn't a quite exact match, but
yeah, not that smart yet.
it seems to be getting better every day. So yeah. Um, but yeah, the next thing we want to do is create an anonymous session. So we already exported the API from the API.ts. So we can bring in that. We're using async in this function here. So we can add in on the next line, we can add in await and then bring in the API import.
Is it just called API?
Yeah, I believe it's just exported as API.
Okay.
And then we can use this is the web SDK. So we can do API.account. And
Love
then,
the always love like these
mhm.
IntelliSense hints.
Yeah, also one thing about the web SDK is that it does, you can use it with TypeScript, or even if you just have regular plain JavaScript, you can use it there also. But yeah, the first thing we want to create the anonymous session there, and that'll just be a method that we can call, or a function we can call. You don't have to pass any parameters to it.
Oh, no parameters. Okay.
Yeah, no parameters. So that'll just create our session, and then we can use await again. And we want to update the name because the anonymous session doesn't necessarily take a name or anything. So we can do
Mm.
API.account again and update name there, or update name, and then pass in the name from the yeah, for there. So yeah, then after that, we want to. So we'll of course we'll put in a um, name and room, and then we want to use that navigate to the chat URL with that. So on the next one we can use the I don't know if the use navigate is in here from React Router or not, but we may need to
Yep.
bring it in. Okay, so yeah, we just have to define that use navigate, but we can do that in the online 7 there, I believe, and just create a constant that's navigate, and then use the use navigate there. Yeah. So then after that, we can navigate after line 7, or excuse me, line 14. Yeah, we can navigate to, or you just call that as a function, I believe. Yeah,
Hmm.
and then we can navigate to /chat, and then add the room as a query parameter, and use it that.
Okay.
Yes, that will work.
Cool. All right, I gotta turn off Copilot because it is. It's like.
It's
All right,
like
let's turn off Copilot.
who's going to win? Is it going to be me or Copilot? And Copilot.
Uh,
So there we go.
yeah.
Okay, so that is at least for the authentication side is just what we need there, and that will create an anonymous user which you can actually see in the console, and then it'll just navigate us to the chat room page.
Gotcha.
So
So this is create an anonymous session is really cool because then you can build out like um just off the top of my head like FigJam
mhm.
for people you can like see other people kind of like on
Oh
their
yeah, for sure.
site, right? Like you can definitely do this.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, we want to keep that. That's one of the options because, like I said, we want to keep that balance of security, but being able to make it a little, pretty seamless if you want to offer that experience also, so where people don't have to log in with an email and password. But the other part about it is that you can upgrade an anonymous account to a
Mm,
username and password. If I've seen that on sites before to where you can start off without creating an account, and then it's pretty like on checkout sites
right.
where you check out as a guest and then you can kind of sign up an account from there. So let you be able to do that too.
That's awesome, because then you can keep all of the state from the anonymous user and carry it over. Nice. All right, so let's do this. I'll go with Chris, and we'll go with
I
Tech Talk.
use, yep,
Oh,
Tech Talk works.
okay. Let's go for start chatting. I don't know
Oh,
why
and
you're
then
doing
we're,
that.
okay, you got the same. I don't know why why
Is it gonna
Chrome is
stop us?
doing this. Okay, so there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, so that actually logged us in, and if we were to look at the browser console, browser dev tools, and look in the application, we would see that we have a key there for the authentication session. So, but that's just how that's just how you can use that to log in. Like I said, there are many other options there.
Where
Username and password.
would I see was that local storage you said, or?
Yes, yeah, it'll be like
Okay,
a local storage, so you have the cookie fallback there. So,
cool.
and then if we, like I said, if we wanted to log you out, we could do that too from the console or even from the app itself.
Okay. Um, awesome. So login was just a couple lines.
Hmm.
Looks like we have about 15 minutes left, so let's start rolling on some more code.
Yeah, sure. Let's go into the chat.tsx file there.
So we're done with login form, right?
Yeah, we're done with login form.
Okay, sweet.
And this is where we want to be able to send chat messages. So we'll go ahead and add the functionality where you can submit a chat message, and we can look at that uh, and get that working. So if we go down to the send message there.
Okay. And then real quick, so I can get a lay of the land, all we have right now is a state variable for messages.
Hmm.
And then if we scroll down, I imagine there's just a map.
Yeah, it's just a map with message, yep, message name and the message itself, yep.
Cool. So we're just looping over messages and displaying message.message by the message dot name of the person that made it.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and go into the send message there, and we're going to do this. We'll go ahead and get the create message out of the way because I know that people want to come for the real time part. So we can go ahead and create that or get the message. So yeah, what we want to do here is the same thing where we just want to get the message input from the form.
Was it called message?
Um, yes, yeah, it should be message there. We also want to bring the API in here and get the session data. So if we create a const for session and use API and then just use the account, await and dot account and dot get, and that'll just give us the current logged in users information there. You can just call that, like that. And next we want to add the message to the database. So yeah.
Sorry, real quick. So this line right here, essentially, you could wrap your entire application in like a context provider,
Mm-hmm.
and then use this as your entire like authentication for the
Yep.
entire React app. Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. That's a very powerful line, I think.
Yeah. We have to. Yeah. If we like I said had more time, like I said, you could roll it in at the top and build a whole like you said, authentication flow around your app and do that. But we're just kind of using it inline here.
Right. Right. No, I'm cool with it. My imagination starts moving when I see something
Mm-hmm.
that easy.
Yeah. Okay. So next we want to create the create the document. So if we do an await there and use the API again, and we choose database this time. And what we want to do is create a document.
This is fantastic. This is all the CRUD things we would need.
Mm-hmm. Yep, like I said, it's REST APIs all underneath, but you can, like I said, the SDKs definitely help you get up and running quicker. So the collection ID is just a chat one that we entered before. So you can just enter chat there. And then the next one is the document ID. And we just want to generate a unique ID. Like I said, you can create your own custom ones, but we'll generate
Mhm.
a unique one here. So you can use the word unique in quotes there, and then, or it has to be a string, excuse me.
Oh,
Yeah, unique in quotes, and then call unique in quotes as a function inside there. Yep, that works. And then so after that, our next argument will be the data that we actually want to pass in. So that'll be an empty object. And then we pass in the name as a property and just use the session dot name there that we got from the active user. And then we'll get the room. We need to actually get the room
hmm.
for that parameter there, which we can at least set that to, we could get that from the query parameters, or I guess maybe in the interest of time, we can set it to tech talk there. And that way we can keep rolling with it. And then the message will just be get that from query params. People that are cloning it later, they can get the complete example and see where we are from
And
there.
that would just be like, yeah, interest of time. You're right. Let's keep moving.
Well, no, we can it would be if we were using React Router, we would just have a params. We
Would it
use search
be
params, yeah.
okay? Cool.
So we could bring that in and then use the use search params there and get that. And so then the last one would just be the message that we want to create there, and then we got that from the input.
Cool.
So yeah,
And this is just like a function that Appwrite knows about.
yes, that is, yeah,
Okay.
that's an internal thing that it knows about to generate an ID instead of you creating one yourself manually there.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, that would be what we need to add an item to the database there. So, and then we can get into like I said, the real time part of it, which is pretty straightforward to set up on that end. But like I said, if you wanted to, add more documents or do other things with that, then you can do that too. So yeah, if you want to add a message there, we didn't clear out the input after the message was sent, which I think is okay, but we can
That's right.
add that so that the message there will be persisted even if after we submit it.
Oh, I think I clicked it a bunch of times, but we're not updating. Like you said, we don't have real time yet, so nothing's going to update
Right.
as far as. But could we see it in the dashboard since I already clicked it like 8 times?
Yes. Let me refresh here and see. Okay, I don't see it in the dashboard here
Let me make
yet.
sure my network tab is making moves.
Okay. And we can check the browser console also and see what if something happened there, because we should be logged in, or we know we were logged in successfully. So
Test. Let me just make sure that something is happening here.
okay. And if push come to shove, I said we could add a document and set up the list or in the real time, and then see how it comes in, even if I just added it from the console, and then it come in through the real time part of it.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's see. I am seeing something is wrong. I think this needs to be a button.
Which one needs to be a button?
The little pink.
Oh, yes. Let's see. Yeah, there should be a form in there with an on submit.
Yeah, but the button wasn't there, so it didn't submit.
Oh, right. If you hit enter, then that works too.
Oh, okay. Cool. So yeah, enter works.
Yeah.
Create now works because we just changed it over to a button. And now,
Yeah, I thought that I clicked
There we
that.
go.
So there we go. I thought I had the click in there working, but I may have when I was setting up the template, I may have removed that part. So yeah.
all
Yeah,
good.
you could add a click handler to the send button there, and then we would get those messages. But like
Cool.
I said,
Okay.
as you can see, you did click it 5 times and it was going through. So
Awesome. So yeah, I realized my code wasn't on screen. So yeah, down here, instead of this being a button, it was a div, which is why the click wasn't working. So
yes, let's see.
so we just changed it to a button, all good there. And now we just have to refresh. Or no, we still don't have,
Yeah,
we haven't pulled data yet, right?
Yeah, we haven't added any messages there yet, so we can get into the real time part of it, because that we can add messages to the queue there, and then they will show up in real time there.
Cool. All right. So we got about 5 minutes to add real time.
Oh,
So
5 minutes. Okay, under the gun. Let's
and then
do
we
it.
got Q&A at the end.
Okay. So for this, we're going to use a use effect in the component itself,
So
and
so real quick as an overview, effect to create like a subscription or
yes, yeah. What the real time underneath is a WebSocket connection, and it will call the. You can subscribe to particular channels or messages, and then it will subscribe to those messages, and then you can do whatever you want with them, whether you want to update the chat messages or anything else there. So, but yeah,
will there be one effect or two effects?
there will just be one.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, so we'll have a use effect here, and then we can open that up, and yeah, so yeah, pretty standard stuff there. So in here we'll create, we'll use the API again. So we'll create a constant called unsubscribe, and the subscribe from the API returns that connection that you can unsubscribe to later. So that way, if you need to clean up the subscription, after you leave the chat messages, then you can do that too.
Which you should do.
Yes, you should, because memory leaks are not your friend. But yeah, let's use the API one more time.
Should I async this?
No, you don't have to async this use effect. So you can just use .subscribe, and then the first argument here is in this method is going to be an array of channels that you want to listen to. So we'll choose and these are documented on the Appwrite docs also. So we'll choose the collections. We want to, they match the convention of how it's structured in Appwrite. So collections in there, we'll put .collections, we'll put collections as a string, collections dot chat, which is the collection that we created, and then .documents is what we want to listen for. So yeah, we'll put that, and then the next argument in the subscribe will be a callback function, which will be the data that we get back when you receive a message on there. So the data will be inside of that callback parameter there. Yep. So we want to listen for incoming documents that are created. So we'll add an if case here, and we'll say data, which has properties on it also, but we'll want to listen for the event. Data.event, yeah, and if that data.event equals databases dot documents dot create, database dot documents dot create, yep.
Documents or
documents plural, yes. And then inside of that if case, we'll use the set messages callback there, and then we'll use that as a callback function so that we can get the existing messages that are in the state.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So messages
This
like
one kind of tripped me up when I was working on it before, but yeah, because I'm relatively new to React, so
oh yeah,
we had to do some finagling there. But yes, if we just want to create an array, create an array there, or return an array, and then just spread the messages in there, and then use the data.payload, which will be the document that was created in there, and we can probably cast that payload as a chat message, since we did this in TypeScript. But like I said, we can have that there either way. And then for the cleanup on the use effect, we just return the callback and then unsubscribe from the
As
WebSocket there.
just call it itself.
Yeah, just call it as a yep. That's it.
Cool.
And then
All right.
yeah, so that's the real time part of it. So we can definitely try it out and enter some messages in there.
Okay. So if I refresh on first mount, will it go grab all the messages that were in there already?
No, we haven't loaded the messages just because we were, but you can do that also. We showed the API.database, and there's a list documents method in there that we could do to, yeah, if you wanted to use it, have another use effect, they just loaded the messages and then just set them there.
So
yeah,
let me just try. So it would look like on first mount, we would say, we would async this, right?
Yeah, you could async that. Yeah, async, then we use constant messages equals API, await API.database and list documents. Yeah, and then we just choose the collection ID, which would be the chat. And then after that, we could just set messages with the messages itself. Yeah. Or we may have to cast that as an array of chat messages. Yes. Or
when you are out of time.
There you go. Out of time. Just load them in.
I know React doesn't like this async at the top level either. So, okay. So
today I learned also.
Let's see. Messages.map, not a function. Does this return?
Oh,
do I need to like dot
documents? Yes, you got it. Okay. There you go. And there's our list of messages that that were already in the database there. So you got your list of messages there, and then if we go in and enter a new message, we get our real-time. There,
there you go. And that goes to the database and then back to everybody that's in this chat room.
Yep, everybody that's connected will get that. So
effect to get all documents on first mount, and then an effect to set up the subscription. And this is really cool because data.event, I feel like will probably have like updated or so if you're building real-time Twitter, you could have an edit button finally.
Finally, they finally listen and give us the edit button. But yes, there are a number of events that you can actually, any system event that comes from Appwrite will be pushed through this socket. So you can pick and choose which ones you want to listen to and subscribe to. So
sweet. Awesome. So yeah, we really got the real-time part done in less than 10 minutes.
You said 5 minutes. We got to get some kudos there. We got 5 minutes and we got it in there.
So I know we're coming up on the end here, but I just want to like wrap my head around how fast it was to build a real-time chat app, which this is really cool because this is a powerful API SDK to just do whatever, real-time, create, read, update, delete. Like I imagine FigJam, I keep going back to FigJam because it's so cool, but you could just say your database is just a bunch of pixels and then each pixel has its own color. And then just update pixel by pixel, and you would have a drawing board.
Yeah, for sure. You, like I said, you can with the things that you get out of the box, you can build practically whatever you want, and have, like I said, have all the database and everything there. And one thing to mention is that, like I said, all this is open source. You can roll it on your own stack if you wanted to migrate, from one stack to the next. That all the data is portable and everything, and also encrypted in the database. So definitely secure also there.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely have to go play around with this myself more. Yeah, so let's see. We are coming up on the end here, so let's do some shout outs and some Q&A. I saw a few that we didn't get to answer. Brad earlier said, is there any Swagger or Swagger-like function to?
Yes,
Yep.
there is an open API spec for all the APIs that you can use. So you can generate, if you want to use Swagger or something, to generate all the services or um, for services or files that you needed based on what Appwrite provides. There is a spec there that you can use to do that.
Awesome. Very cool. Let's see. Did I miss anything else in chat?
Yeah, there was another question if about Python Django integration. There's no, like I said, underneath Appwrite is a lot of REST APIs. So you can integrate it basically with any framework or any stack if you want to use the REST APIs directly. We actually had a blog post about using Appwrite with Python to generate GIFs based on chat messages by one of our other team members, Vincent. Wrote that post, so we definitely have to link that in the show notes also. And I wrote one about doing the same thing in Node.js, so it just kind of gives you some flexibility. We did that using cloud functions there, so definitely different ways you can integrate it in.
Yeah, I'm thinking of all the ways you can throw this in, and there's just a lot of different, like you can go straight from the front end and use all this stuff here. You can, if you wanted to, build your own API via functions.
Yeah, you could. Yep, and that's another good point. Thanks for pointing that out, Chris. You're on top of it also. But yes, you could. The functions really let you extend the functionality of Appwrite itself. Even if there's something in there that it doesn't currently do, you can deploy cloud functions to basically write your own APIs or additional things to do on top of that. And then you still get that integration with the Appwrite events and everything else. So yeah.
Awesome. So, sorry, I'm pulling up trying to scroll down and see if I missed anything else. Yeah, so we have two call outs that we want to do. Did you want to talk about the Appwrite hackathon?
Yeah, we can talk about that. The Appwrite, we'll be doing a hackathon with Dev.to soon, so definitely be looking out for that. And we also have some other things coming up, which we'll keep a little bit under wraps for now. But definitely check out the Appwrite Twitter account and the blog for more announcements and things of stuff that's coming.
Awesome. Yeah, and that'll be. Yeah, I guess I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we should have something coming up here soon with announcements and links and everything else. But yeah, Dev2 definitely did a fun hackathon, I think last week or so. And then we'll be following up with that one soon. I believe it's soon. Yeah, it's pretty soon. So
awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I always love a good hackathon. So yeah, one thing I want to call out on our side as well from the DigitalOcean side is our Holly's Hub for Good. This is a program that we started that is named after one of our near and dear teammates. Basically, what we're doing is we started a fund to help programs and companies that are working to improve health, education, reduce inequality, spur economic growth. So yeah, we just wanted to call it out. We're in a year now, and we have a blog post for all the updates. So we joined the Pledge 1% movement, committing $50 million to social impact causes. So I just want to drop this blog post in. It's been a really fun time seeing what DO has done to, I guess, push forward a lot of these programs. So yeah, I just want to.
Pretty cool there. Oh, I had an incoming message. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's the hackathon is next week for Dev.to. But yeah, we'll have some more official links and things coming soon on that part of it.
Right on. Yeah. So I love it when announcements are like, "Hey, it's next week," not it's
It's not
so
3 months from now, so I forget what it is, forget what it is, and forget to sign up.
so yeah. If you enjoyed this and you like the demo, you'll be able to play around with Appwrite next week. Well, today for sure, but if you want to join a hackathon soon.
Yep.
And yeah, thanks everybody in chat for joining us. I had a lot of fun learning about Appwrite and building some fun stuff. Brandon, thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So thanks everybody in chat, and we will see you in the next one.
See ya.